In Microsoft Excel, traditionally, when it comes to entering of data in your cells in your worksheet, you just have to select a cell, then you start typing your data. So after typing the first data in that particular cell, you can press the tab key or the right arrow key on the keyboard, and that moves you to the next cell. That is if you are typing in a particular row. So presently I am in this cell which I can type another data. So in this row, which is row 9, I have item, quantity, price, and also total revenue. Therefore, let's assume that this is the data I want to have in this row, and I want to move to the next row. I'm going to press the enter key. So as I said earlier, these are the traditional way of entering data in Microsoft Excel. So when I get to this row, which is row 10, I can type the next data. So in this row 10, I have typed router for the item, 12 for the quantity, 50 for the price, and for the total revenue. In this cell, I want to bold it so that it can stand out. So I'm going to hold Ctrl+B on the keyboard, and I'm going to use the product function to multiply the quantity and the price so that I can obtain the total revenue. So as you can see, immediately I press the enter key in this cell, this has moved my selection to the next row, and that is starting at the first column, which is the item. So I'm going to type the next item. Now in this case, instead of me to type the formula once again, I'm going to use Ctrl+D on the keyboard so I can copy the formula in this cell into this particular cell. So automatically this has adjusted these cells to suit the data that is to the left of this present cell. So this is called relative cell reference. I have a video that talks about cell references, which are relative cell reference, absolute cell reference, mixed cell reference, and I'm going to put that link in the description below. After watching this video, check it out and understand the usage of cell references. So this is how to traditionally enter data into Microsoft Excel, especially our worksheet. Now we want to take this particular data entry to the next level by using a special feature in Excel known as macros. And macros is a great feature which allows you to perform repetitive tasks to reduce stress and also to limit time consumption when it comes to working with spreadsheet application. Therefore, we are going to use macros to make our data entry very simple and also exciting. Therefore, before I move to that particular section, I want to format this data perfectly. So as you can see under item, I'm going to select all these cells. That is to hold Ctrl+Shift and the right arrow key, and this is going to select all these cells. I'm going to bold it, Ctrl+B. Then I'll move back to the home tab. In the font group, I'm going to change the fill color to this color, and I'm going to adjust this column perfectly. Now this quantity, I want to align these numbers, all these numbers below this column headers, I want to align them to the left side. So I'll go back to the home tab. In the alignment group, I'm going to choose left alignment perfectly. This is how I want my data should be organized. Now we are going to use this particular feature known as macros. Therefore, I'm going to create the same column headers for these three headers that we have here, which are item, quantity, and also price. So I'll select A1 and type item, and then to the right of this cell, which is A1, we have B1. I'm going to enter a different item over there. I'm going to press the enter key, and the next column header is quantity. So this is going to be our input data that is going to automatically add up to this data we have here when our macro is done. So I'm going to select these cells bold it, change the fill color to this color or this color. I'm going to align this to the left perfectly. Now in this case, this particular quantity is a value, but this price is of a currency. So I'm going to select these cells, select this and this by holding the control key. So I held down the control key and click on this cell, this and this, and I want to change this to a particular currency, and that is going to be a custom currency. So to do this, I'll move back to the home tab. In the number group, we have this group here. I'm going to click on this arrow, and this provides me with a format cells dialog box. You can also use Ctrl+1 on the keyboard, and when you use Ctrl+1, which is a keyboard shortcut, this also opens the format cells dialog box. Therefore, in this section, I'm going to choose currency, and then to the right we have symbols. You click on this drop down arrow, and I'm going to type GH, and I'm going to have this item selected, which is GHC. That is going to be the currency for this particular numbers. So when I move to this section, I have 58 GHC, and that is Ghana cedis. Now that we have this done, how can we use this particular macro? And to do this, we move back to the home tab, and then we have this particular tab, which is developer tab. And when you click on the developer tab, you have this ribbon, and if by default you don't have this tab on your menu bar, then I have a video that shows you how to activate it. And if you don't have this tab, you can also use the view tab, and then you access this macros group, and when you click, you have the option to record macro. This is also an option when you get to the developer tab. It also gives you the option to record macro. Now any of this tab can help you to get this tax activated. So now that I have this developer tab selected, I'll move to the code group, and I'm going to click on this record macro. I'm going to have this beautiful record macro dialog box, and then it says record name. The default name is macro1. I'm going to change this to BTC channel. So this is the name I want to have for this macro, and I'm going to click on OK. Now this is activated. How can we have this particular tax done? I'm going to move to this data that we have here. Right click on this cell. Now when you right click in this options, we are going to choose insert. I'm going to have this beautiful dialog box, and I'm going to choose entire row, and then click on OK. This is going to create a space in this particular data that we have here. Then I'll move back to the top of this data, select these cells, hold Ctrl+C on the keyboard, which you can also right click and choose copy. Then I'll move back to this data, right click on this empty row, and then in this options we have paste options. I'm going to choose the fourth option that says transpose, and when you click, you have this activated. I'm going to select this cell and then use the products function. So I'm going to bold this particular area. It is already bold, and I'm going to type the equal to sign with the product function. Select this, bring the comma, select this, and I'm going to hit the enter key, and this gives me this particular total. Then I'll move back to this section and double click to adjust this cell so that we can have the data viewed perfectly. Now let's move back to this developer tab, and I'm going to choose stop recording. Now this tax is perfectly done. The next thing that we are going to do is to assign this particular macro to a button, and anytime we click on the button, that is going to input whatever data we have here into this data in this section. So we move back to the developer tab, and we have the controls group, and then we are going to click on this insert button, and in the form controls, the first button that we have here is form control. That is the button form control. I'm going to click on this and draw a beautiful button here. Now I have this assign macro option here. I'm going to click on OK. Then we have this default name. click once in this particular box, and I'm going to use the delete key to delete all this data. Now I'm going to type my own. I'm going to adjust the box so that I can have my text fully shown in this button. Position it very well. Now this button says click to add data, so I'm going to right click on this button, and then in these options I'm going to choose assign macro. We are going to have this beautiful dialog box, and if you could remember, this was the macro name that we typed during our recording. I'm going to select this and then choose OK. Now look at this data that we have here. We have router, keyboard and monitor. Now when I move to this section and type a different items, so I'm going to type projector, and then the quantity I want is 5, and a price for each projector is 100 cedis. Now when I get to this section, we don't have this data in this particular tabulated data. Therefore when I move to this button and click, and when I get back to this section, you can see that this data is added to this well tabulated data. Let's try another one again. Move here, key in a new data. So I have laptop and the quantity is 3, and I have a price of 150 Ghana cedis, and when you get to this section we don't have that data available. Therefore when I move back and click on this icon or this button, this has added this particular data into this list, and this is an exciting and also easy to use feature in Microsoft Excel, which allows you to enter data. This particular feature allows you to limit an error when it comes to typing, because when you are typing in this section you make sure to type the accurate data, so that when you click, this is going to add to your main data or your main dashboard that consists of your original data. So this is macro, and this is one example of using macros in Microsoft Excel. We will dive deep into Microsoft Excel and learn more about macros. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one.